All right, we are back here on the podcast talking some reality TV here and a pop culture segment here. We got Squid Game, the challenge dropped its first batch of 5 episodes on Netflix for day before Thanksgiving here. We don't have time to watch all of them, but I wanted to check on this because we covered Squid Games last year with our pop culture correspondent. Actually, 2 years ago. Sam Derosa here. Sam, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. I gotta say, this thing surprised me. I was not expecting a lot, and I was actually intrigued by this first episode.
No, I weirdly 100% agree. I came in this with almost zero, I don't know, zero expectations to what this was going to be, and it kind of surprised me as well.
Yeah, for sure. I figure, we had the whole deal, went through the whole show, the dramatic show, I think in 2021 for Halloween pop culture party here.
Mhm.
I said back, I think last year said, oh, this thing is coming. We're like, I don't know if it's gonna be good. And I think like I got big reality TV guys. I sort of have ideas for what tropes that they're gonna use. And like they broke a few of those, which is actually a pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, I mean, they introduced a lot of characters that you anticipate you're going to see for a long time. You may or may not see because I don't want to spoil anything. So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah. This is what people know here. We're going to talk about the first episode only of the batch, the red light, green light episode. We're going to talk about that. And then we not watch the rest of it. We're going to leave this to you and let you know at the end if we think you should keep going, because I know at least one of us will say you should keep going.
Yeah, I will save my answer to the end.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the section here because I did think the first like 15 minutes of this thing, I think really sold me on this concept because I did like that we got the game right away. We didn't spend a ton of time like getting those because 456 people playing this game. It's gonna be impossible to know everyone in 10 episodes.
No, exactly. So you know how your reality television works is you interview the people who stay around.
Yeah.
So I was like anticipating a lot of people to be who were, interviewed to stick, but spoiler alert, they don't.
Yeah. I mean, we get a bunch of interviews of people. I think we got like, what would you say? We talked to like 8 or 9 people before we got to the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. They give their life story, they give the reason why they want this money, yada yada yada. And then you're kind of like, okay, like I see your, personal, odyssey basically. And then it happens.
Yeah. And we get to this game here. And I think, first of all, my question to you is this like here, how do you think they did adapting red light, green light to the real game version? I thought they did pretty well.
No, I did too. The fact that they wore kind of like a paintball, like, explosive on themselves kind of did it justice. It was nice that they had the scary doll thing, turning around. I didn't hate it as much as I thought. You grew up playing red light, green light, right?
Yeah.
So, you're like, oh, it's just, a silly kid game, but, with them pausing for so long, like that girl who was in like a squat form who was like, I give up. I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was wild for sure. I also like the exploding die packs. I feel like it's one of those things where if you ever see the movies where they rob the bank and they have the paint on the dollar bills that explodes when you try and leave the bank, that's how they use to sort of eliminate the players here. Although I will say, I think the shots of them slowly falling to the ground, I think was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that's, when they get eliminated, they like, when they sign everything, it's kind of like, oh yeah, like do your best death pose or, death shot or whatever. Cause as you see in the show, it's like people are like get hit and then they're like, bleh. Like, like not a good, time relation, but these aren't paid actors.
Yeah, they certainly aren't here. I did like though, like we meet a bunch of people here, and I think that about half of the people we meet in that intro end up losing red light, green light, which is pretty wild. You think about it.
Yeah, because you're anticipating these people to be introduced, so you remember them, that they move on. But I think that was one of their better decisions for the show.
Yeah, and we did see. I think there were a lot of memorable players in this game here. Though, I mean, shout out here. I mean, we lose. I think what was it like 259 people in the first game, which is wild.
Yeah, like a lot of people, which you can see if you watch the first episode that a lot of people just get like the first red light, green light. I can't say those words together apparently tonight, but it's just like the first round, right? Red light, green light, turns around and it knocks out like a bunch of people, and I was like, holy crap. I thought this was going to be easier and more people are going to, pull through.
Yeah, and they seem only had 5 minutes to get across like a length of football field without like getting caught by the red light, green light robot.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little, over the top at points, especially towards the end. But it did its job, I guess.
Yeah, it did do its job here. We did meet a lot of fun people here in this first episode, besides the ones who end up getting offed pretty quickly for the here. Who are some of your standout players who who you got to know this week?
Um, I think her name is Leanne, the mom.
Yeah.
She's just like, I just feel like she's gonna be so conniving, like her and her son.
Yeah.
But I liked her. She seemed funny. She's like, don't, count me out because I'm old kind of deal. And I'm just like, okay, Leanne, settle down. I forget his name, but he turned like 69 or whatever.
Oh, Rick.
Rick, yeah. He's funny too. I'm like here for the the older generation of contestants.
Yeah, like I would say the mom and son of like Leah, like Leanne, I think like was Tyler was the son, or want to say, or
yeah, or something like very,
generic.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were fun. I like the pair and who did the test in the kitchen. I think it was like Brandon and Leanne
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they were fun here. And the guy Quentin, the student, like who was sort of the ringleader of the muscle bro guys, like he was also a fun character to watch too.
He was like what, 432?
Yeah, 432.
Weirdly, I remember their numbers more than I remember their names.
Yeah.
Like the mother and son was like 301 and 302.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is it, 101 and 134 who had to do the elimination test?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all interesting. I'm curious to see who we're gonna meet more. I just remember that one girl, Jada. She was interesting too, but I can't remember her number.
She was in the 300s, I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go with you on that one. But she was a character.
Yeah, she certainly was a character here. I also liked the fact to hear that like the way they nailed the visuals for the sets for the show. Because I mean, like you really they people walk in the dorms, they're like in awe of like how big they are. Like it looks exactly like the bunk bed setup here. The challenges we've seen look the same as we saw in the game. It's a lot of fun, like very, very unique.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they shot the show or where they shot it or whatever, but like, sets can be repurposed. They could have repurposed them. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, it's weirdly similar. Maybe it's the same set,
I would think it's the same set because I mean, I'm sure they probably had them built. They probably just brought everybody there and just like did some tweaks to like make it livable.
That's true. I think it's funny that they had like people doing like chores and stuff like for tests.
Yeah, the chores is funny to see the people sweeping the bathroom was funny. And then we get the hair in the kitchen, which I think was Brandon and Leanne. We'll say here they get the test here, and like we were told by the people in the pink suits that you're gonna get tests throughout the game, and like first one they get here is like, okay, here's your choice. Either you give someone in the game an advantage, or you can eliminate someone anonymously, which I think to me, like, is that early? Like, you barely know anybody. Like, you're getting rid of somebody. Like, why are you helping someone and you can't even tell them you help them?
I mean, I feel like that was like a 50-50 because it's just like, yeah, you can help somebody, but you can also eliminate them, but you don't know anything about anyone. I thought that was a weird time to put an elimination. I'm sure it's a setup for other tests and stuff for elimination and advantage. I just thought it was a waste. Also, they're just peeling carrots.
Yeah.
It's like not like the carrots, were featured in the episode at all. I don't know if that bothered you as much as it bothered me, but
they probably got chopped up the ones that they peeled and put them in those food containers they're giving out later.
I guess it didn't look very carroty, to be honest.
It looked like a fried rice sort of combination dinner they sort of had.
All right, I'll give it to you, but I still don't remember seeing any carrots.
Yeah, I think the test situation I think is interesting because like I think the way they did it in terms of like, oh, you have anonymous like way to like have it revealed, but like the guy who was in the kitchen, like he really could not keep a straight face when like they revealed it. I'm like, dude, you gave yourself away with that.
Yeah, no, he was talk about somebody who would never win an Academy Award. He was terrible. I'm pretty sure his name was like Kyle or something stupid like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like laughing like as it was coming out. Like whereas I think like was the other person who made the decisions, like more like strategically fake, like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like and like
Yeah, no, she did a good job. Kyle, the mullet, one of the two mullet people
yeah.
were terrible actor.
Yeah, early actor. And then number 200, our pal Moti, who ends up getting eliminated by them because he made the mistake of trying to talk to too many people.
I mean, that's fair, mind your business, but I don't know. I mean, it's nice. What I like about this group of people is that it's like international,
Yeah.
quote unquote, is that there's people from everywhere. So
It's
you
that
never know what like cultural stuff is gonna like, screw with them in the end.
very diverse group.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting group of people.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting. Like I thought that like our guy Quentin 432 was definitely a target because like he was leading the muscle bros. But, like I thought like both things like probably is like doing what I would do is like just get to know as many people as possible. Like I can like help myself and down the line. But he was, I guess, when you don't have like that many people to pick from early on, he just stood out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the strategy that I would pick would probably be just quiet, even though I'm very extroverted. I'd be like, I don't know any of these people. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I like how we're taking two different stances on our strategies.
Yeah, that's for sure here. And we got another fun moment in the dorms when they bring the food out, and this guy Lorenzo is like an Italian, lives in the UK. He just is very, very hungry. And then he decides, you know what, like everybody's supposed to go get like one tin of food. And then he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go back and get more. So he hides his tin in his bunk, goes back on the line. They let him get another tin of food, and other people notice. So what'd you think of the quote unquote food stealing?
I mean, honestly, it was just like, it's reality TV, so you're gonna have stupid plot points, but that was one of the stupid plot points of the first episode.
Yeah, for me, I just think it's funny because like that's something where like if I'm designing the show, I see somebody do this, I'm like, you know what? All the power to them. Like we didn't say in the rules you only had to take one. Like he took advantage of a loophole, got in the line.
No, that's true. And I was waiting for them to be like, okay, we have like X amount of food, and then the person in the back of the line didn't get any because this person took two, but like it didn't even freaking matter. Like, so I was just like, I guess it was kind of like a moot point.
Plus, our pal Lorenzo here was just like going over eating people's leftovers and they were done eating. So like that don't know how big an appetite this guy had.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, that Lorenzo.
Yeah. I feel like he's gonna be around for a little bit.
Possibly. I mean, with the state of how this show's going, we never know.
Yeah, we never know here. And then we get the setup for the second game here, which is the honeycomb game where you have to chisel the shape out of the honeycomb. And this really was fascinating watching how they did this setup here for the game because I just like where they had everybody go into the room where you divide the teams and then you form four lines. They had the first person in each line go in, and you had 2 minutes to unanimously agree on who's getting what shape. And these people watch the show, and no one wants the umbrella here. So the producers deliberately not tell them what would happen. They didn't agree. 98 says, I'm not taking the umbrella. And then boom, all four of them are out, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I'm in Squid Games. This is my least favorite game, I feel like, because it was just like so anxiety ridden. Remember, I don't know if you remember watching this episode.
Yeah.
But I like that. I'm curious of how many people are going to go through and like get, killed, quote unquote, until they pick their cookie like shape.
Yeah. Plus, the thing that I don't think I mentioned clearly enough, I'll say it here now, is that when you were picking your shape, it was not just for you, it's for your entire line of people. So, like, you could basically doom a ton of people if you end up taking the umbrella, avoid getting yourself out of the game. So, it's pretty insane to think, like, oh, I either take this thing and basically get like 30, like 50 people mad at me, or I take a stand and I just get myself eliminated so more people, so that these 49 people can stay in the game.
Yeah. That's the one interesting part of the second episode that I'm looking forward to seeing too.
Yeah, because we ended the first episode with the second group of four going in. They were again having a debate about somebody trying to avoid the umbrella here, and two people think we're fighting over what, the triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting to see how that plays out. Although I suspect that the older guy there, I think, is gonna just cave and take the umbrella just to make sure he stays in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this show has thrown us some like, surprises. So I feel like who knows?
Yeah, who knows here? And speaking of this show here, like, would you continue on for the second episode or further episodes?
I think I would at least continue for the second episode. I can't say I'm going to watch the whole season. I'm intrigued for now. I don't have high hopes for the entire thing, to be completely honest with you.
I think I would keep going. I think also, interestingly, this show, the way they broke it up, I thought it was going to be a straight drop of 10 episodes. They sort of did the circle model where they're giving you chunks at a time, where they give you 5 this week, 4 coming on Wednesday the 29th, and the finale drops on the 6th. So they have 3 weeks of this experience.
See, like, I'm fine with that. I just feel like it's going to get old fast. And it's like, it doesn't have the same storyline as actual Squid Game. Like the whole backstory and everything. But like, I don't know. I might stick around for 1 or 2, 3 episodes, but I can't guarantee you anything more than that.
Yeah, I think the key for people sticking around here is like, if this cast is good enough to keep you engaged, because if these people suck, you're not going to stick around. But like, if they throw enough twists in here to invite conflict into the game and get people sort of like at each other's throats a little bit, like in between the games, and create drama in the dorm room, I think that'd be fun.
Yes, we will see what weird surprises they'll have in store for us.
Yeah. Last thing here, in terms of this episode, give it a grade, a scale of 1 to 10. What would you give it?
I don't want to give it too high because it wasn't, the most amazing thing. It did pique my interest. So I'm going to go with like a B minus.
Yeah. Yeah. I think out of a 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7. I think it was a very good.
Oh, we're doing numbers.
Yes, we're doing numbers.
All right. So we're doing numbers. I'll give it a 5.5.
All right. So you're 5.5. So it's just above average. I'm in the above average category. That's where I fall on this.
I think that's fair. I'm so sorry. I thought we were doing letter grades, not number grades.
Absolutely here. So that's all set here. Get you caught up on Squid Game, the challenge. So I think, I endorse it. I think you should keep watching it. Sam says, give it another episode or 2, see how it goes.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
All right. So Sam, I want to thank you, Ken, taking all the time. Really appreciate it. We'll see you soon back on the podcast for Pop Culture Party 5 with you and John Stanko. We're going to wrap up this year of pop culture.
It's going to be great. I'm sure Stanko and I will be arguing as per usual.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had a lot of big stuff early in the year, and then I think later in the year, with all the strikes, sort of went downhill like this.
Hey, but the year after, 2024 might be a big banger. 2023 might be a precursor to how exciting 2024 might be.
Yep, that sounds good to me. And people want to follow you on social media. How can they do that?
Yeah, you can find me at SDEROS6. Just Google Sam Derosa. You'll find me somewhere.